So ladies and gentlemen, as we move on to our next session and pivot, let's take a moment to reframe our perspective on the startup ecosystem from the very first steps to scaling to new heights. In our next session, we shall delve into the strategic resets and interventions that are needed to elevate a maturing startup landscape to global benchmarks. And in the session, uncover actionable insights to empower the next decade of transformative growth and innovation in India's dynamic ecosystem. Please join me in welcoming, of course, Mr. Ranu Vohra, co-founder and executive vice chairman Avendus, along with TV Mohandas Pai, chairman Aarin Capital. A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, and good morning to all of you. A very interesting session we had in the Angel Summit yesterday, Family Office Summit yesterday. I was telling Mohan that while this is TiE Mumbai, for the right people, we are willing to have no tariffs, and get the best imports from Bangalore. So thank you, Mohan, for being a part of this event. And obviously for being an inspiration to entrepreneurs, a mentor to so many entrepreneurs. Let me start by asking you a question which is a formative question for India, which is, we have seen a very limited time, call it the last 10 years of explosion in companies, some innovative, some not as innovative, but dramatically changing the culture of India. And now we have the next 10 years ahead where, for lack of a better word, we have something to catch up with or catch up to or define our own destiny. So from where we are now to what do you think should be the vision for the country in 10 years from now? And if you can just tell us, what does it take for us to get to that journey?
I think that's a very great question. Let me start with GDP and come down to technology and startups. We have $4 trillion today. We grow at, let's say, 7% a year in real terms, nominal, maybe 11 with 4% inflation. We should double economy in 10 years. So that'll be about $8 trillion. And that's a 90% probability is going to happen. And that's great. We're going to add to GDP in 10 years what we added in the last maybe 75, 77 years. All right? That is unbelievable. The next point is the rupee could get stabilized and get stronger possibly, primarily because the whole in our trade balance will be balanced by surpluses on services like we spoke yesterday. That is very significant because it'll be the first time. In fact, last month, export of services was more than the export of goods. And Ranu, we are a poor country, $2,700 per capita income. And yet services to the global markets are higher than goods. It is sad, that is so. It's great, it is so. Both sides, because goods are not gone up. That's one. So the rupee could become stronger. We invest more than $1 trillion a year. And we have a savings rate of 29% of GDP, which is pretty good. We have a fantastic banking system, which is very clean. We have a great stock market, which is very efficient. We have wonderful bankers, and Bombay, the animal spirit in Bombay has come back again, which is fantastic. The market is down. Market goes up and down, so you've got to get adjusted to it. But I think we are in very good shape as an economy. But if you look at India, 1.4 billion people, 1 billion people live on $1,000 a year, 400 million people live on $7,000 a year. That's 2.8 plus 1, $3.8 trillion in per capita GDP. And out of this 400 million, maybe top 100 million live on $12,000 a year. The balance may be $5.5 to $6,000 a year. And this top 100 million, which is more than many countries in the world, at $12,000 grow at 8%. They buy 4.2 million cars. They do all the trips abroad and all the nice stuff. So if you look at the country, we are seeing from the bottom people come into the consuming middle class. We've got a very large consuming middle class. And if you look at the PPP multiple, we are $17 trillion. People forget how big this economy is. They look at the nominal, look at PPP. PPP China, I think, is 36. China is 36. US is 32. India is 17. And it's enormous, right? We have this size, we have this heft. In every industry, we are either number 2 or 3 after China, excluding the tech industry. So we are in good shape, and we're gravitating, and we're going ahead. In technology, what's going to happen in the next 5 years will put the last 20 years to shame. Why? Because machines have got intelligence. Machines did not have intelligence when the Industrial Revolution started in 1750 with the invention of steam engine. But the Industrial Revolution upended 5,000 years of history. It's unbelievable what happened. Europe became the most prosperous part of the world, and they colonized the whole world and created an industrial society. Population grew from maybe 1 billion to 8 billion today. And I think we're doing very great things. So we are seeing this technology shift happen in the last 10 years, driven by the internet. Out of 8.2 billion people on the planet, 6 billion people have a mobile phone, 5.5 billion people have the internet. It's unbelievable what has happened. Everybody has got a cheap mobile device with a data plan which can connect to each other around the world 24/7. Never happened before. Never happened before. Now on top of that, we are getting huge computing facilities through hypercloud, happening in India, happening all over the world. And in fact, Masa, remember, Masa went to US and told Trump that, I'm going to invest $100 billion. Trump told him, hey man, that is peanuts. Come back with 200. So he came back again with 500. Man, $500 billion. Loose change. And then what did China do? The Chinese discovered the biggest weapon they have against America is their tech industry. And President Xi had been pushing the tech industry and humiliating them and putting them down. Suddenly a DeepSeek, a Chinese startup came and released an AI algorithm like ChatGPT. Nothing happened for 2 days. On the third day, the American market crashed by 2 trillion. Nvidia crashed by 600 billion. 600 billion. I mean, what India has come down is very small. 600 billion. And then what happened? Xi called all of them to a room and said, you are the greatest guys in China. Tell me how to hurt America. Because he discovered the ultimate weapon. America's greatness is built upon market capitalization and innovation. Innovation leads to market capitalization. Of the top 10 most valuable companies in the world, 9 are digital companies. If there were 3 trillion, 2.5 trillion, as if this trillion doesn't matter. $1 trillion doesn't matter. Ranu, you got to be a $1 trillion trillionaire very soon. Bombay has got to have a $1 trillion GDP very soon, all right? Because it doesn't matter, loose change for all of you, bright guys. So now he discovered that, and now DeepSeek just yesterday released a quantum computing facility which says it's 100,000 times faster than Google. 100,000 times faster than Google. Now that is a reality. Hypercloud, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, robotics, machines with intelligence, genomics, investment going into to make billionaires like Ranu live for 120 years. They say human life is 120 years. And all the billionaires in the world, they're a lot more today than ever. They want 1 extra year of life with very good energy. They'll pour billions into it to elongate life. So we're seeing a sea change in the human condition all around the world, driven by technology and innovation at the pace never seen before. Driven by capital, driven by young minds, etc. And that is the state of the world. And India is ideally placed in the state of the world. Like I said yesterday, there are 3 things we need. Human capital, we have them in plenty. In technology, Bangalore is just 1.5, 2 years behind Silicon Valley in the sophistication of technology because we don't have those PhDs, we don't have the research institutions, we don't have the dollars to research, but the engineering for all the innovators is being done largely in Bangalore. All right? So we are 2 years and we can pick up, and the Indian diaspora all over is mixed. Of the top 50 digital companies in America, 25 have Indian CEOs who work their way up. They are not been put down there by the godfather, they work their way up. And what Satya Nadella has done is absolutely brilliant. The stock price was stagnant for 12 years. It's gone up 6x or 7x or 8x or whatever it is today. It's enormous, right? We're seeing this thing happen. So this diaspora requires financial capital. We have physical capital. We got Jio, Airtel getting Starlink to us. They got the money. They got the capital. We're going to go up to hypercloud to 3 gigawatts. And Fadnavis says that, Navi Mumbai is going to be the great capital of cloud in India. Fantastic, because all the links come there in the sea. And you can build all this with heavy capital expenditure and subsidize the whole country by charging less because you got excess capacity. That's a fantastic business model for India. So we're seeing all this happen. And now if you go forward 5 years, digital economy is going to grow faster than the nominal economy. So the digital economy is a larger part of the nominal economy. The digital economy is going to create higher productivity for all. There will be job losses, but India still has to build houses, roads, etc. We'll get by. So we are going to be much more productive. If you're much more productive, what you do in 10 days can be done in 2 days because of technology. You save that kind of money or become efficient. Of course, you'll be productive sitting in a car in the traffic in Mumbai and Bangalore. Okay, that's going to be the reality. But still, we'll do more work digitally than we do today. And next, much of the mundane activity will be done by AI, and then greater discoveries and innovation will happen faster. The innovation cycles will come down. Why it will come down? Because innovation includes search, including reasoning, including creating models which can be done by AI. I think it's fantastic. And AI doesn't sleep. No work-life balance, no debate about 70 hours, 90 hours, all the nice stuff, right? So it works 24/7, and that is there, and the models are going to be used here. India is specializing in vertical LLMs. Now, a horizontal LLM like ChatGPT, DeepSeek costs money. We are not invested, sadly. But now in vertical LLMs, in various vertical areas like financial services, like health, like high-tech manufacturing, etc., we're going to have the Indian companies do it. They're doing a great job already. And I think India is the largest number of trained AI people in the world. And second largest sophisticated AI people in the world already, because we have spent that kind of money in training. So all these things are going to happen. The cost of robotics has come down by 60%. And all our factories across India, we're seeing more robotics come up. Go to the manufacturing plants of Suzuki or anybody else, or Mahindra, you see only robots around the place, right? So this kind of efficiency is coming in. Once productivity goes up, we grow 7%, productivity grows maybe 7-8%. We're going to see the impact all over. On top of that, we have digital public infrastructure, free platform where transactions can happen, so anybody can start a company with very low capital cost. Now, a young, bright guy from any of these colleges can have a laptop, sign up free cloud, and go on to the DPI platforms, download data, start a company. Doesn't cost him anything except, whatever you eat in, what are that pav bhaji that you eat in Bombay, twice a day. You give him and they'll be very happy. And in Chennai and Bangalore, give them thai sadam and pickle once a week. They're very happy to work 24/7. So innovation cycles are going to go up, and that is what is driving. And I want to say, Ranu, India is the third largest digital power in the world. And in the free world, the second largest digital power along with the United States. So United States and India, China on one hand, because the Chinese wall, it is closed, but they're trying to penetrate the Chinese wall, and the Americans are running scared. So America, India work together digital era, and we in Bangalore, I feel closer to SFO than Delhi. We go to Delhi, we hear a strange language there, something they speak we don't understand. So we go to SFO, we walk in the streets. Of course, there are a lot of bumps there now. It's become bad, but we do that. So to me, Ranu, the most exciting period in India's history the next 5 years because of technology, great innovation, great productivity, costs coming down, and boom, boom, boom.
That's awesome. Now, you touched upon three kinds of resources. You talked about human resources, physical resources, and financial resources. And also, you hinted at the world being on the digital world particularly, with these three large kind of groups or blocks or leaders, right? US, China, and India. So let me ask you a question on if India had to design a template, right? Now, if you look at the US, their financial power is humongous. The ability to put capital which doesn't look back for 10 years is very high. So the question is, when you're stacked up against a country of that nature, or in China, where unfortunately there is nothing available to talk of, right? How much investment is going where? I mean, there were two kinds of streams of thoughts on DeepSeek. There was a clear school of thought saying that DeepSeek actually did not use only $4 to $5 million as was made out. There was a huge machine of servers, some of which were actually kind of. So when you look at the US template, when you look at the China template, and India, if it has to get there in 5 years, particularly with respect to the other resources, what are the pluses and minuses of the templates, and which one should we go for?
See, we should go to the China template because China's template is built largely on frugality and investment. Because we can't afford the US template. We can't put billions of dollars in R&D every single year and create that because we don't have that kind of money. We're short of money, so we've got to be frugal. We've got to have technology. What did DeepSeek do? What DeepSeek did is very unique. Now, ChatGPT has 32 bits after the decimal point in terms of mining data. They only had 8. Then they took whole sentences, excluding keywords. They brought down the computing requirement by 75%. Pretty smart. It's very smart, the way they did it. And now they're designing chips to meet this new kind of algorithm because the GPU chip is essentially for high-scale video. So they're designing chip for AI to process in a very energy-efficient manner, and that can be done in India. So we got to go to Chinese template. What should we do? One, we must pick up 5-6 frontier areas of technology, which is again going to be AI, machine learning, which is going to be robotics, and which is going to be, let us say, hyper quantum computing, which is going to be maybe genomics and biotechnology, and then we got to be high-tech manufacturing. We got to pick these 5 areas and invest in them to public money, put $1 billion a year in each one of them, get a coalition of 100 of your best engineering schools working with them, create a coalition of industry working with them, and join together to accelerate the process of innovation. And once we do that and something comes out, the US is going to come around and say, we want to work with you, want to buy with you, because the US thrives on capital and on innovative corporate cooperation. They're not antagonistic to anybody because they want to buy you over and make most of it. So I think we got to do this. So we got to invest in R&D. We got to create coalitions of industry and this thing. And the private sector has to play a big role. And the large corporate organizations have to pick up their areas and join these people so that the assimilation of industry can be done. And then we got to create funds to fund all young innovators, give them grants in all these areas and other areas to accelerate development. And third, we got to have ease of business, stop tax terrorism. Stop all these license quota Raj and all the inspectors coming and wanting bribes. And give them a special status like the IT service industry came with export benefits and free. We didn't pay taxes those days because we had this exports 10A benefits, 10A, 10B benefits. But it saved us some tax terrorism. We didn't have to spend time in front of the IT officer explaining all kind of stuff, right? So we got to have the ease of business and then pick up some 8-9 cities across India and create those clusters. Because you see, we need a concentration of activity in technology, in people, in mentors and everything else to create that huge base to grow. Why can't Bombay dominate the world in financial services? You got great fintechs, you got all the markets here, you got the best brains here in business. You do it in a very, very big way and work with Bangalore to get that AI and machine learning to them so that you go leap to the next level and join and work hands. And it can easily be done. And I think Bombay should take the lead in doing this for Bombay, Maharashtra, and India. And I think if you're able to do all this, 5 years later, at least of the 5 industries, in 2 or 3 will be, equal, not equal to the US, will be close to the US and will be a dominant player. Ranu, my dream is India must be the dominant digital power in the next 5-10 years. In the free world, dominant digital power. And that has to be very clear for us.
That's an amazing vision to put and something which I'm sure the opinion makers, leaders, should listen to. When it comes to, some of this discussion we are having is around how different countries have navigated and created that infrastructure or enablement. I want to touch upon one aspect, which is deregulation or ease of doing business, right? I think startups by nature have to prove their business models in a short period of time. They have limited ability to handle regulations and so what is your sense that on the ground today, what do we need to do to make it conducive for these companies to start scaling up faster? Do you think, first of all, something is needed to be done or should startups learn how to navigate?
I think a lot of things have to be done. And the problem in India is the detailing. We talk about ease of business, but we don't go next level. What is ease of business? What are the things you must do away with? What are the things you must have a carve out? Prepare a document. So I would urge you with Thai to talk to startups here and make a document, what law, what regulation, what has to be carved out for them and give them an exemption. For example, in Karnataka, we got an exemption from having standing orders and standing rules for the labor department that stop harassing us. Okay? And we got an exemption. And it really worked because the harassment stopped. And now they always talk, we'll bring it back, we'll do this, all kind of nonsense. But we got it done. So make a list of all that, you be the champion and go to Fadnavis and say, hey, we've got to do all this stuff and get it done. So these are exempt very clearly from all this. It doesn't mean they break the law, but they don't have to file the form, they don't have to do all that, and give them a very easy way out. All right? If you're able to do that, you release the energy they spend on everything else. And then for God's sake, talk to RBI. RBI is here. The governor is a wonderful person, new person with fresh thought. And tell them, ease the rules for foreign money coming here. It's so difficult for foreign money to come here. You got to file those silly forms. You got to do everything else. And once you have an exit, you got to get the stupid valuation report. You know, Ranu, I don't know how stupid people are in this country. I have invested a lot, maybe 400, 500 investment. When you get a young person coming and pitching to you, you like the pitch. It's only a pitch. He has nothing else apart from idea. Then he speaks of valuation. We ask him, what is your valuation? 20 million, 20 million. Why 20 million? Well, I thought of 20 million just now, 20 million. So you negotiate with him, okay, bhai, I'll give you 20 million, I'll give you 3 million. I'll have liquidity preference. That when any money comes in, I'm protected. It's good. So I'm first in the race, 1.5. That's all. Do you have a valuation model? No. Is a valuer born in this country who can assess it and say, this is the great valuation? No. Every projection that you do is a projection without meaning because there's nothing behind it. It's the idea. And you're investing. Why should you have a valuation report? Why should you file the stupid valuation report? The income tax says valuation report dena hai, ye dena hai. I mean, do they have better knowledge than we do? When we invest, we are putting our money. We are risking it. And why are we doing it? Because we feel that the idea is a great idea. What else is there, Ranu? There's nothing else. It's an idea, for God's sake. And then when they exit, get a valuation report. How do exits happen? Somebody comes and says, I'm going to buy you out. Okay, negotiate. The price is fixed across the door, right? And then we buy you out. And this is the price. Is there a cash flow statement? No. It is there. It's cooked up. Does it make sense? No. Then RBI says, give me a cash flow statement. Give me a balance report. Give me this. Give me that. Give me the original valuation report. Income tax says, in the original valuation report, the projection didn't reach your production. You did this. Man, this is total nonsense. We must stop all this nonsense and say that, look, this is a private market between two people. Now, are those two people kosher? Are they getting good money, bad money? No. Right? Create a system there with the RBI where money can come in and money. You don't allow money to come in. How can you have the Eid? You got to get money in. The Chinese got all the money in, everything, and they grew the country. We don't allow money to come in. We harass them. We do everything else. And then we say, where is FDI? Where is FDI? This year, FDI is negative. For all the things that RBI did the last 2 years, FDI has become negative. Foreign capital is not coming in. They're getting harassed. I think we got to clean this up, and you can do it in thing. And then in the stock market, really, we have to spend time to see which are the regulations which are unnecessary and old. Can we ease it up? Can we say the Nifty 100 are exempt from this negotiation because we believe the corporate governance standards are good, because disclosure is good. They've been there. Now, what do you want to squeeze Infi for? Infosys has very good corporate governance. They're following the norm. They set the rules. What are you going to harass them and put more and more norms on them? I mean, you got to be careful. You got to say, guys, let's give you an easy route out and do that. And you can do it here by detailing. And then Manish Sabharwal said the 65,000 compliances in labor and everything in this country. Now, we must go in detail. And what you should do, talk to Fadnavis, your CM, and say, let Maharashtra be the exemplar. Let Maharashtra show the way for India. You have a young chief minister who's doing great work. You give people are very bright people. And say, let us make Bombay great again. Make Bombay great again. MBAG. Make Mumbai great again. Man, that's a fantastic slogan. We got to say, make Mumbai great again. Mumbai is great, but make it great again. So do that. You
that's
understand?
amazing.
See, we need detailing, Ranu. And then working with government. And tell Fadnavis, set up a small Maharashtra digital mission, headed by you and a few other people, entrepreneurs. And you say this, and reporting to him, and let him start taking it, cut, like Dodge and Trump, and let him tweet every day, I cut this, boom. Do it. What is that?
No, absolutely. I think there are. Thank you. I mean, I think there are so many parallels to what is being done globally, which can be very quickly and.
But we need an
easily
exemplar.
used. Yeah.
See,
you
we need one state to lead that. My state is. I feel sad about it. Our CM just doesn't get it. I mean, doesn't get it. I feel so sad. We wrote the first IT policy for India in 1997. 97, for God's sake, nobody knew IT was. We went to the minister and said, 2000, we're going to 5,000 crore of exports from Bangalore. He said, how much are you today? 2,000. Will it happen? I said, yeah, karo, hoga. We did it. Then he went to the chief minister, J.H. Patil, and said, we want the IT policy. What is IT? Then he told him, sir, just sign it. So he's going to the US, he signed it, we issued it. We worked. They're the kind of people who were there those days. You got to do it in Fadnavis. You got the best opportunity now. Just come to power. Young person who's got a vision and who wants to change and he wants Bombay to beat Bangalore. I don't know who are the companies, startups who come to Bombay from Bangalore. I've not seen them. I live in Bangalore. But he knows better, I guess. He's a wiser person being the CM. I think I don't know. But, make it happen. And then you compete. You force other states to follow. Lead.
I can see there is a real opportunity for Mumbai to kind of come in its colors. I want to spend the next few minutes.
And then one more thing, we need capital. I would urge you to tie up with Japan. Japan has got $14 trillion. Ranu, I went to PMO once when Abe-san was PM and met the principal secretary PM and told him, please tell our PM to go to Japan, ask Abe-san, give us $500 billion of 50-year money to invest in infrastructure over the next 5 years, $500 billion. They got $14 trillion savings. They can give government subsidy, government guarantees and all that. He said, $500 billion. Yeah, 5-10 years will absorb it. Because, please remember, in 50 years, the person who borrowed, the person who lent are not going to be around. And India will be 10 times the thing. Put the money today. What does it matter? Interest rates 1, 2, 3%. What does it matter? 50 years. 50 years is a long time, right? We're not going to be around. If somebody else will take care of it, the world will see what the world is. But right now, put the money to work. So you got to work with Japan to get money here to invest. India has got fantastic investable resources. They got huge savings. They got a pension problem. And I think we've got to get the money here. So you got to be innovative to get capital. American capitalists come if you give them great returns. Japanese capital come if you give them safety and security. And we can structure it to give it to them.
No, absolutely. A lot of school, food for thought here. I had a question now on a different dimension, which is to talk about, you also wear a hat as an investor. And you have worked with multiple founders, some of who built businesses, some of who've blown up businesses. And, we have a lot of entrepreneurs in the audience today. So one of the key things is going to be that a lot of startups don't need to stop at 1 billion. A unicorn is not a destination. It is just a journey, right? So if you want to be a $100 billion company, you have to show very different attributes as a founder. If you want to go $500 billion, perhaps very different. So from your personal kind of experiences with founders, what do the founders need to do to realize this vision of scaling up to such large numbers?
Well, first thing I would urge the founders to respect capital. Capital is the accumulated labor of a lot of people who work their bums out to save that money. Respect capital. Use it wisely. I'm not saying don't invest, but use it wisely. Respect capital. Don't blow it up. 1, understand your strengths and weaknesses for a founder. You have got great sense in technology, a business vision, passion, energy, all the nice stuff. You don't have maturity. You don't have wisdom. Have a mentor and listen to the mentor. And get a good mentor. Go to him with the dilemmas and ask them how to do and work. Third, once you grow to a size, get operating people. Operating excellence is strategy for breakfast. Operating excellence is strategy for breakfast. Get operating people to run the business who are going to get every morning and do things right every single time. Where innovation can be done by you in a very chaotic manner. If you have customers and you have revenues, do it very well and get good operating people. For example, if you're an electric vehicle person, go to TVS and others in manufacturing, get the best people, hire them, double the salary. They get very less anyway and get them to run your manufacturing plants. Do that. Okay. And the next thing what you do is set good standards in reporting and understanding in the board. Take the board seriously after a time. When you become 3 or 4 years, get the board, build the structures because the mentality of going to public markets is very different. And tell yourself in 10 years, 8 years, I want to go to the public markets. And say to yourself, I want to beat Infi. When Infi went public in 1995, 100 shares cost 9,500 rupees. That is in 1993. 100 shares have become 1,04,000 shares at 1,600 rupees or so today. That's worth 17 crores. And have a single point, beat in fee, create value. We should have some 20, $100 billion companies in India from startups in the next 10 years. Do that. Have that ambition. Wake up in the morning, say, I'm going to beat them. Go to sleep in the evening, say, I'm going to beat them. Work your butts off to make sure it happens. Create an open, collegial, transparent culture within your organization where people can talk back, people can question you, people can decide, and the best idea wins. Communicate with your staff. Lead by example. Live frugally. Don't buy the biggest Benz in town because you happen to be a founder. Go in a small car. It doesn't matter. What matters is the end result. And what matters is what you do. What matters is a legacy. Now, look at all the big people. Baiju was a great guy. I have respect for him, an entrepreneur. He raised 6 billion. 6 billion. He built the greatest edtech company at 22, 23 billion. Great product. Blew it up. Why did it blow up? The board didn't work. No mentor was there. He was not transparent to himself and to the board. It was all in his head. And he built a great team. It blew up. And I think it went wrong. And one other company tried to grow very fast by doing a Satyam's Raju business. Now, there are very few of this them done. But what happens is hubris. They believe in their own bullshit. They believe in their own greatness. Don't believe in their greatness. Please. The sun will rise in the morning, set in the evening. Whether you are there or not is going to happen every single day. Be humble. Always remember, there's somebody waiting outside their door to obsolete you, to destroy you, to make a bigger innovation. Be paranoid and do that. I think these qualities are required. To be real, stand on the ground and to be humble. And then once you do that and build it up, and then grow leaders. Put your best people around. Give them the chance to, work their butts off. And if you're a great leader, you've got to be like a charioteer where you have all the thoroughbred horses and you put a carrot in front of them. And with them, they keep running, the carrot is still there. But they run forward. Enthuse them, give them options, give them hope, give them space, make them grow. Grow a team. See, they must do all this. And they must understand clearly what has to be done. It's a very tough job, Ranu. Entrepreneurship is very tough, very difficult. Because the buck stops at you. You know that. You build Avendus. Buck stops at you. You wonder when are you going to make payroll tomorrow. You don't have money. You got to raise money. And there are horrifying stories where people didn't have money for next 2 months and they managed to raise the money in the last day. Then when you raise money, you have these accountants who make a life miserable, your lawyers who write irrelevant stuff in the agreement which don't make a difference, right? And they go on delaying it to get more fees. And you have to live through all that. Then you got investors say, "Mujhe exit do, I want 10x, 20x, 30x," as if they think it's a bank deposit with a guaranteed income, 25% IRR. It's a very difficult business. Yeah. So they must have mentors who can help them and do it. I think if they do that, they can do well. And the many successful people who have done well, we need many more of them.
That's awesome. I can see a big red flag saying time's up for us. And with Mohan, it's always a case where there's so much to learn and so much to absorb that no amount of time can be enough. But I wanted to thank you, Mohan, for being with us. And
but Ranu, please make Bombay great again. Please.
We take it. We take it well. The audience takes it. And hopefully, all of us will spread the word around.
Yes,
Thank you.
Forget India, forget Bangalore, make Bombay great again. That's all. If you make Bombay great again, India becomes greater, Bangalore becomes greater, world does. Take care of yourself first and the world will take care of itself. But make Bombay great again.
Super. Thank you.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a huge round of applause, please, for Mr. TV, Mohandas Pai, and of course, Mr. Ranu Vohra. I'm going to request Mr. Vohra to please present Mr. Pai with a token of appreciation on behalf of TiEcon Mumbai. Thank you once again, gentlemen, for charting a visionary roadmap for our startup ecosystem. A huge round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again.